Today we have a special guest. His name is Nick Bryk. Hello, Nick.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. So, Nick, I've known you for quite a few years now.
It has been a while.
It has been a while. So, for everyone else that doesn't know you, of course, just give us a brief insight to who you are,
Okay.
where you come from,
Sure.
and how you ended up here in Qatar.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm from Canada, and I've got quite a diverse background. I've been involved with HR, sports, and back in Calgary, I used to run the Calgary Corporate Challenge. So I tell people that was my favorite and best job I ever had, which is basically, it's like an Olympic-style event for businesses. And after I finished that, I luckily got headhunted to come out here to Doha in 2005 to work with the Doha Asian Games. And they weren't able to get rid of me. So I've been here almost 14 years and now am involved in the World Corporate Games at Doha, which will happen next November, which is why we're here.
Absolutely. I just want to find out, what were you interested when you were a youngster, and what did you want to do when you, grew up?
Well, other than being interested in girls, I actually love travel.
Okay.
And I wanted to be an airline pilot.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So
and what happened?
I got my private pilot's license, and then went to study for my commercial pilot's license, and then realized that you had to know and enjoy physics, and that was one of my least favorite subjects. And so I figured, the heck with that, I can travel without being the pilot, and took off a few months and did the backpack thing throughout Europe.
Yeah.
And then came back, and I've always been involved in sports and thought, this would be an interesting potential career. And since I enjoy participating and organizing sports.
So what kind of sports were you into?
Well, being Canadian, of course, ice hockey.
Ice hockey.
And soccer, or for those in this part of the world, football.
Are they big on soccer? Because I never really...
Not back then.
Okay.
Anything that's not on ice or in the snow, typically not. But recently they have improved, but certainly not competing with the the major players, Brazil and Argentina.
Okay, so you went into sports.
Yes.
But it was more on the organizational front.
Correct.
Have you always been that kind of way inclined, organizing things?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you OCD?
I don't know if I would classify myself there. I would use the term I'm a bit anal retentive in terms of things, if they're done, should be done properly.
Yeah.
And
so you're easy to work with?
Well, I guess depends who you ask. I would say yes. I've got, particularly since I've been here, I have, and I call them my Qatari brothers and sisters, people that I've worked with and hopefully mentored in some fashion that I still maintain contact with. And they've gone on to one of them studying her PhD currently abroad, and another is working as a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
And so some really young and dynamic Qataris in this case that give me hope for the future.
Well, that's good. I'm just curious now, because you said you're results driven. How was your experience? Was that your first experience of working here in the Middle East and Qatar when you came over for the Asian Games?
Yes. No, I traveled extensively, and prior to arriving here, I'd been to Jordan, Egypt, Syria, Yemen.
What, working or just
no, just
traveling?
As a tourist.
Yeah.
So the first time working in the Middle East was when I came here in 2005.
So how was your experience in actually, if that's the way you're inclined,
yes.
And you probably, with the Asian Games, it probably pulled on a lot of people from around the world as well as locally.
Correct.
So how was that?
It was, as you can imagine, very challenging. You learn, if you didn't have it previously, you learn to have patience and a sense of humor, which is definitely needed.
Oh, it's definitely needed.
Yes,
yeah.
And I used to work in the talent identification business here, and I often said, I tried to identify people that obviously worked hard, had an open mind, had a lot of patience and a sense of humor, just because it can be challenging here. I mean, the very reason it's challenging is also the reason I think we enjoy it, because every day is never the same.
No,
it's never boring.
No, absolutely not.
Never boring.
No, it's full of surprises sometimes.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
as I said, you tend to learn, to focus on what's important. You let the other stuff slide. And I think, and you've probably found it, I mean, the people here are just amazing, in terms of hospitality. They do have a keen interest, I think, in learning generally.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I learned, and I mean, I am proud of Canada, but, they wear their heart on their sleeve,
Yeah.
which is, quite admirable.